Welcome to my show, dear listeners, where we embark on a journey through the annals of history, uncovering the fascinating tales of bygone eras. Today, we find ourselves in the midst of a pivotal moment in human history as we delve into the captivating story of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. This epic tale of courage, cunning, and conquest will transport us to the lush landscapes of Mesoamerica, where two great civilizations clashed, forever altering the course of human events. As we begin our exploration of this pivotal moment in history, let us first set the stage by examining the earliest history of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. It is a story that begins with the founding of Tenochtitlan, the majestic capital of the Aztecs, in 1325 by the Mexica people. Over time, the Aztecs expanded their dominion, incorporating neighboring tribes such as the Tlaxcalans, the Huexotzincas, and the Cholulans into their empire through a series of conquests. However, not all city-states were willing to submit to Aztec rule, and tensions simmered beneath the surface, waiting to be exploited by external forces. It was in 1517 that the Spanish explorer Francisco Hernández de Córdoba led an expedition to the Yucatan Peninsula, where he encountered the Maya civilization. Although this initial foray was unsuccessful, it marked the beginning of Spanish interest in the region. The following year, Juan de Grijalva led a second expedition to the Mexican coast, where he encountered the Totonac people, who were subject to the Aztecs. The Spanish were impressed by the wealth and sophistication of the Aztec Empire and began to plan a larger expedition to conquer this new land. Against this backdrop, Hernán Cortés set out on his fateful journey in 1519 with a small band of soldiers, horses, and cannons. Cortés had been appointed by the Spanish governor of Cuba, Diego de Velázquez, to lead an expedition to Mexico with the goal of claiming the region for Spain and converting the native population to Christianity. As we explore the historical context of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, it becomes clear that the Aztecs were not a monolithic entity, but rather a complex society with its own internal divisions and conflicts. The Tlaxcalans, who had long been enemies of the Aztecs, saw the arrival of the Spanish as an opportunity to ally themselves with a powerful new force. The Tlaxcalan leader, Xicotencatl, would play a crucial role in the events that unfolded, as would other key figures such as Moctezuma II, the enigmatic and often contradictory Aztec emperor. As we navigate the intricate landscape of Mesoamerican politics, it becomes clear that the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire was not simply a clash between two monolithic forces, but rather a complex and multifaceted conflict involving numerous players and interests. As we conclude this first segment of our journey, we have set the stage for the dramatic events that will unfold in the coming weeks and months. The stage is now set for a tale of courage, cunning, and conquest that will forever alter the course of human history. Join me next as we embark on this thrilling journey and uncover the fascinating details of this pivotal moment in human history. Welcome back to our journey through the annals of history, dear listeners, as we continue to uncover the fascinating tale of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. As we delve into the primary events of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, it becomes clear that this period was marked by a complex interplay of alliances, rivalries, and cultural exchanges. The Spanish, led by Hernán Cortés, had formed an uneasy alliance with the Tlaxcalans, who saw the Spanish as a means to counterbalance the power of their longtime enemies, the Aztecs. This alliance would prove to be a decisive factor in the outcome of the conquest, as the Tlaxcalans provided the Spanish with crucial military support and strategic guidance. One of the most significant events of this period was the meeting between Cortés and Moctezuma II, the enigmatic Aztec emperor. This encounter, which took place in 1519, was a pivotal moment in the conquest, as it marked the beginning of a complex and often contradictory relationship between the two leaders. Moctezuma, who was both fascinated and intimidated by the Spanish, would ultimately prove to be a tragic figure, caught between his loyalty to his people and his fascination with the European newcomers. As the Spanish continued their advance, they encountered numerous other city-states and tribes, each with their own distinct culture and traditions. The Totonacs, the Huexotzincas, and the Cholulans, among others, would all play important roles in the conquest, as the Spanish sought to exploit the divisions and rivalries that existed between these various groups. The Spanish also introduced new technologies, such as firearms and cavalry, which would give them a significant advantage over the Aztecs on the battlefield. Despite these challenges, the Aztecs continued to resist the Spanish conquest, and their capital city, Tenochtitlan, remained a formidable stronghold. The city, with its sophisticated system of canals, aqueducts, and temples, was a marvel of engineering and architecture, and it would prove to be a difficult nut for the Spanish to crack. However, after a long and brutal siege, the Spanish finally breached the city's defenses in 1521, marking the beginning of the end of the Aztec Empire. As we explore this period in greater detail, it becomes clear that the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire was not simply a clash between two monolithic forces, but rather a complex and multifaceted conflict involving numerous players and interests. The conquest was marked by moments of great courage and cunning, as well as acts of brutality and betrayal. It was a time of great upheaval and transformation as two great cultures collided and a new world was born. The Spanish conquest has gained momentum, and the fate of the Aztecs hangs in the balance. Join me next as we uncover the fascinating details of the conquest's aftermath and reflect on the enduring impact of this epic clash of civilizations. Welcome back to our journey through the annals of history, dear listeners, as we conclude our exploration of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. The fall of Tenochtitlan in 1521 marked the beginning of a period of significant upheaval and transformation for the indigenous peoples of Mesoamerica. The Spanish, led by Hernán Cortés, established a new capital city, Mexico City, on the site of the former Aztec capital, and set about imposing their own language, culture, and institutions on the conquered territories. This process, known as the Spanish colonization of the Americas, would have far-reaching consequences for the native populations, as they were forced to adapt to a new and often hostile environment. One of the most significant consequences of the conquest was the devastating impact it had on the indigenous population. The introduction of European diseases such as smallpox, measles, and influenza, to which the native populations had no immunity, led to a drastic decline in population. It's estimated that the population of Mexico declined by as much as 90% in the first century after the conquest, from an estimated 25 million people to just 2.5 million. This demographic collapse had a profound impact on the social, economic, and cultural fabric of the region. As the Spanish consolidated their power, they also imposed their own system of government, economy, and culture on the conquered territories. The Aztec Empire's complex system of tribute and taxation was replaced by a Spanish system of encomiendas, where indigenous peoples were forced to work on Spanish-owned estates in exchange for protection and other benefits. This system led to widespread exploitation and abuse of the native population, as they were forced to work long hours in difficult conditions for little or no pay. Despite these challenges, the indigenous peoples of Mesoamerica continued to resist the Spanish conquest, using a variety of tactics, including armed rebellion, passive resistance, and cultural preservation. Many indigenous communities preserved their traditional ways of life, including their languages, customs, and spiritual practices, despite the efforts of the Spanish to suppress them. This resilience and determination would ultimately contribute to the rich cultural heritage of modern-day Mexico and other countries in the region. As we reflect on the lasting legacy of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, It's clear that this pivotal moment in human history had far-reaching consequences for the indigenous peoples of Mesoamerica, as well as for the Spanish colonizers themselves. The conquest marked the beginning of a new era of globalization, cultural exchange, and conflict, which would shape the course of world history for centuries to come. In the words of the Mexican historian and philosopher Miguel León Portilla, the conquest of Mexico was not just a military victory, but a cultural and spiritual confrontation between two worlds. This confrontation would ultimately give rise to a new and vibrant culture, one that blended the traditions of Europe, Africa, and the Americas in complex and often unexpected ways. As we conclude our journey through the annals of history, dear listeners, we hope that you have gained a deeper understanding of this pivotal moment in human history and its enduring impact on the world we live in today. The Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire was a complex and multifaceted event, marked by both great courage and great tragedy. Its legacy continues to shape our world, from the languages we speak to the cultures we celebrate. Join us next time as we explore more fascinating stories from the annals of history. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.